Good day, folks. Welcome to Bright Mind Academy, where we bring brilliance to every lesson. Continuation of May, June 2022 question paper. So now we are dealing with question 10 now, probability. All right. Question 10 it is based on probability. All right. Now we have 10.1.1. It says now to us the flags from 4 African countries and 3 European countries were displayed in a row during the 2021 Olympics. Now, this is what we call the fundamentals of counting principles. Normally, these are the fundamentals of what? Of counting principles. It is a topic that many students struggle with, but I hope I can explain it as much as I can possibly do. All right. So now we are told that there are 4 African countries, ne, and 3 European countries were displayed in a row during the 2021 Olympics. Now, in no particular order. So it means, let's say it is Mozambique, um, Zimbabwe, South Africa, and Nigeria. All right, from South Africa. And the 3 European countries, maybe let's say it was Spain, Japan, as well as China. All right. Now, are you aware that this is me? This is my order, right? We do not know in which particular order did they exactly put these flags in. We are not sure whether they started with Japan, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, or South Africa, or Nigeria, or whatever, right? So now the question that they like to ask is determine the total number of possible ways in which the flags can be displayed, right? Let's look at 10.1.1. It says determine the total number of possible ways in which all 7 flags from the countries could be displayed. Now, we can start with this one, and this become a number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, right? Or this can be our number 7, this can be our number 1, number 4, number 5. So there are many ways in which you can place these flags, right? So if that's the case, if you have that case, you're gonna say how many are they? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you're gonna say it is 7 what factorial. All right. Why am I saying 7 factorial? Let me do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I put Japan here, which is in position number, let's say 7, ne? How many slots are left here? How many countries are left? We're gonna choose from. Now we have, all right, let me say, we have 7 countries to choose from, right? If I place Japan here, how many countries, how many flags should I place that are left? There are 6, right? So I'm gonna choose within these 6 countries which one will come here, right? So it's gonna be, let's say, Nigeria. So now I'm left with 5 countries. So on those 5 countries, let me say I choose China. Then 4 countries I choose South Africa. Those countries, 3 countries I choose Mozambique. 2 countries I choose Spain, and then I choose Zimbabwe. Do you agree with me? At this first position, there were 7 possible flags that I can choose, right? But as I move on, there were 6 that I can choose on. Then after taking one, remember, if you have 7 thingies, as you take one, you cannot include this one because it is already placed, right? After placing Nigeria, I'm left with 5 flags that I can choose from. Then I'm gonna choose from these 5 flags, right? In where I choose China. Then I'm left with 4 flags where I choose Spain. Then I'm left with 3 where I choose Mozambique. And then I'm left with 2 where I choose Spain. When I'm left with 1 where I choose what? 2. All right. Then if you have something like this, numbers following each other without any number missing, from in a descending order. I think descending it is when you decrease, right? So if you have from 10 times 9, blah, 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 4, 3, 2, 1, without any number missing in the middle, we're going to say this is what it is 10, 10 factorial. So also here from 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it is what? 7 factorial. All right. So now the answer here it is what 7 factorial ways in which this flex can be displaced. I believe you are following. Hence here I said what 7 factorial. Now I'm gonna say the answer it is 7 factorial. Then but what is 7 factorial? You go to your calculator and say 7 shift. I don't know where you get factorial on the calculator, but mine I can see it. I don't know what's happening. Uh, I can't see my factorial, people. Oh, here it is. I get 50 40. 50 50 40. This is your answer. 7 factorial ways 50 40, 2 marks. This is the question that they like to ask in counting principle about Mam Jim. Now, this one is interesting. They say the probability that the flags from the African countries were displaced next to each other. So if they were displaced next to each other, remember we have Mozambique, South Africa, um, Nigeria, as well as Zimbabwe. Then now we have what? China, Spain, as well as Japan. So we want a probability that these were placed next to each other. Why? Because there is a possibility that it can be Mozambique, China, South Africa, Japan, Spain. You see now they are not next to each other. So if you want them to be next to each other, we're gonna collect them inside their group, like this Mozambique, South Africa, Nigeria, as well as Zimbabwe, inside their group. Then these ones, it is China, South Africa, and Japan. But do you all agree with me that these three here, you can place them however you like? Are you with me? You can say instead of China, South Africa, instead of China, Spain, and Japan, you can say Spain, China, Japan, or instead you can say Japan, Spain, China. You see, this order, you can place them in any order. All right. So, but we're gonna take this one as a unit. We're gonna take this one as one whole group. All right. We're gonna take this as Africa. Let me just represent them with A. We're gonna take them as Africa, CSJ. It's like now we are having forward four possible countries that we can choose from, because why? This one, they are gonna be stacked, they are gonna be following each other. So this order here will not change. It will always be the first one, or there will always be African flags that are aligned together. All right. So now if we take this as a unit and replace it with letter A, how many possible ways can we write this? You all agree with me? It's gonna be 4 factorial ways, right? Yes, this is gonna be what? 4 factorial ways. Why? Because it's either I can start with China, South Africa, Africa, or Japan. You all agree with me? This Africa here, if I were to replace this Africa, it's gonna be what? Oh, let me say Africa, then Japan. When I replace this Africa, you agree it's gonna be China, Spain, then all four of those, and Japan. You still agree with me that they are still following each other? They are what? They are displaced next to each other. This is what I mean when you take them as a unit. All right. Now there are 4 factorial ways you can do this. You can say, you see, you can place them however. But when we come here also inside the bracket here, or inside our collective thing, I can also start with South Africa, Nigeria, or Zimbabwe, or what. Even here, I still have 4 factorial ways in which I can align them next to each other. I can start with South Africa, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, and Mozambique, or I can start with Nigeria, Mozambique, South Africa, and what? And Zimbabwe. So you see, also here inside the bracket, we have 4 factorial ways in which every time when you stack something, you take something and collect it inside a bracket like this, or a box like this, and you make them a unit. You're gonna say it is 4 factorial ways. If there were three of them, you're gonna say it is 3 factorial ways, right? Then that 4 factorial ways, you're gonna multiply it with what? With the number of possible ways, these ones. Now that I have taken this as a unit, why? Because I can say I can start with China and take my block, then Spain, then Japan, or I can start with Japan and then Spain and then my block and then my. You see, there are 4 possible ways that I can place this this block. The last one, I want you to see something. Where is it? The last one I can say it is Spain, Japan, China, and then place it. Do you see here it is in position 1, here it is in position 2, here it is in position 3, here it is in position 4. So there are 4 ways in which I can place it. So I'm going to say, when I answer this, I answer 10.2.1. 10.1.2 is going to be 4 factorial ways for the inside one, sorry. Then 4 factorial multiply by 4 factorial ways in which I can arrange these. Taking this one as a unit. So my answer there is going to be 4 factorial ways multiplied by 4 factorial ways, which gives me what? Let me see. 4 factorial way multiplied by 4 factorial way, which gives me what? 4 factorial multiplied by 4 factorial. 5, 5, 7, 5, 7, 6. But now they said what? The probability. The probability. Now the probability is going to be probability that African next to each other. Probability that African are next to each other. I don't know how to write this, but yeah, it's gonna be 576 divided by the total number that these countries can be displayed. So total number, it is how much? It is 7 factorial, which is 50/40. So you can say divide by what? By 50, 50/40. Then what is your probability there? Answer divided by 50/40. It is 4 divided by 35. You can leave it like this, or you can say it is 0.1111%. Okay, yes, this is me answering the question. All right, I believe you are following. Let's move on to 10.2, which I believe it should be fairly not that difficult. Why? Because now it's a topic that you come along with from grade 10 and 11, right? These ones are the questions from grade 10 and 11. So let's do 10.2. A and B are two independent events. From the word independent, there is something that I know about independent event. What do I know? I know that the probability of A and B, it is equal to the probability of A multiplied by the probability of B. This is me understanding what independent event. It tells me this. All right. Independent event tells me that the probability of A and B, the probability of A and B is equal to probability of A multiplied by probability of B. Then here, probability of A is equal to 0.4 and probability of A or B is equal to 0.88. All right. Now, the question says calculate the probability of B. All right. Now, I know if I'm given this, I can use the original equation that says now, let me do it where I have space. I'm going to say the probability of A or B, it is equal to what? The probability of A plus the probability of B minus the probability of A and B. Now you were gonna say this is 0 if you did not understand what independent event mean. So before I substitute, allow me to manipulate this. I'm going to say it is probability of A or B. It is equal to probability of A plus probability of B minus. But what is probability of A and B? Since well they did not give us this, we're going to say it is instead probability of A multiplied by probability of B. This is me understanding my concept thereof. Am I in a position of substituting? Yes. What is probability of A or B? It is 0.88. Probability of A, it is 0.4. What is probability of B? It is what I'm looking for. Minus probability of A multiplied by probability of B. It is 0.4 multiplied by probability of B. Then I'm going to take this 0.4 to the other side. Is going to be 0.48. It is equal to probability of B minus 0.4. It is the same as saying 1 minus 0.4. multiply by probability of B. Okay, so probability of B, which is 1 minus 0.4, it is 0.6, 0.6 probability of B. Then you do your mathematical gymnastics. You do what? You divide by 0.6, you divide by 0.6 now, the of in there. So 0.6, therefore you get that the probability of B, it is equal to 0.0.8. 0.0.8. That's your answer, the of. Okay. Yes. All right, let's move on. I'm gonna remove this so that you can move on to the next question. Now, the next question, if I see it, it is a tree diagram. Many students also struggle with tree diagram, and I understand. I was once in your schooling. Now, I did not understand anything about tree diagram, but let's try to make this understandable. They say to us there are 120 passengers on board. There are 120 passengers on board an aeroplane. Sure. Arch. All right. Passengers have a choice between a meat sandwich or a cheese sandwich, right? So there are two possible ways in which you can choose your sandwich. It is meaty or it is cheesy. My English is nice now. All right, but more passengers will choose meat sandwich. This is very important. More passengers will choose meat sandwich, right? So there are only 120 sandwiches available to choose from, yes, because there are now 120 people, all right? There are only 120 available sandwiches to choose from. Now, the probability that the first passenger chooses a meat and the second passenger chooses a cheese sandwich is is this. So here we are told that the probability that the first passenger chooses a meat multiplied by the second passenger, probability that the second passenger chooses cheese, it is how much? It is 18 divided by 85. This is me taking the information. All right. Now calculate the probability that the first passenger will choose a cheese sandwich. All right. Now, one thing I want you to realize is that the probability is always uh, equal to 100%, or it is equal to 1. Your sample space should be 1. What do I mean? It means now when I add whatever that's here plus this here, should give me exactly 100% or should give me 1. So, all right, how does that has to do with you? Now, check. Let's say, this is meat. Let me use a red one. This is those who choose meat. These are those who choose cheese. Let's say those who choose meat. Um, let's say choose meat. Then we do not know, okay. Then let's say those who choose cheese. Are you agreeing with me? It's gonna be 120 minus x. If they chose 50, it means if 50 chose meat, it means those ones who chose cheese will be how many of them? Will be 70 of them. So this is what I'm trying to say here. So now here. Now, those who choose meat is going to be x. Divide by the total number of meat. It is a total number of sandwiches. It is 120. Why am I dividing by 120? Because now I want, when I add this, for those who choose cheese, it's going to be 120 minus x. Let me write it somewhere here. 120 minus x divided by 120. If I have x divided by 120. When I add it with 120 minus x divided by 120, I want this to give me 1. So let me see. For x plus 120 minus x, it is 120 divided by 120, which it gives me 1. If you write it only like this, if you only say here it is x, then here it is 120 minus x. You all agree with me, when I add this, it gives me 120, which is not 100%, or which is not what? Exactly 1. All right, so hence we have to divide it off. Then now I branch this one. I branch this one. Now I'm giving, let me check. I'm giving that if the first one chooses meat, all right, the second one chooses cheese. So I'm gonna only focus on this row, this one, okay? But I'll do that the other one for the purpose of practice. So let's say meat or cheese. So we want this because we have information based on that. But it's fine, I'm gonna do also the other ones. We all agree from when we come to this part, if the first passenger is already taken whatever the what let's say the first passenger has taken meat as a sandwich, we all agree that there will be 119 sandwiches left now, right? Yes, there will be how much? 119 sandwiches left. So it means then you're gonna say x minus 1. He took one of the sandwiches, meat sandwiches here, because choose meat, the first one chose meat, which was x, then the second one chose meat again. So it should be whatever this value is minus 1. If this value is 50, so it means here it's going to be 49 because this particular person is taking again. Okay? Yes. Therefore, the division here, it is divided by 119 because they already took meat. Then the second one also, it is also divided by 119. But now, in this case, if you chose meat, the second one choosing cheese, it means it won't affect this one. It means you just write this as it is. 120 minus x. Okay, so we now have the information that we are looking for, basically. All right, we now actually here the probability that after choosing meat, again choosing meat, all right, it is x minus 1 chooses meat again. If he chooses cheese, we come here to cheese. All right, on the cheese, it's gonna be what? 120 minus x, we're gonna subtract 1 because you are taking one cheese, which is gonna be 119 here, I believe. Okay, yes, I think it is 119 there. Because now this particular person takes cheese and cheese was 120 minus x. So if you subtract one cheese there, you're going to be left with how much? With 119 cheese. Then I can also branch this one, even though it is not important, but for the purpose of explanation, I will branch this. This will be meat, this will be cheese. Okay. The probability that the particular person chooses cheese at first and then chooses meat at first, this is going to be 119. But here, meat is going to be how much? X minus 1. Okay, x minus 1. Then the probability that the particular person chooses what? Cheese is going to be what? Sorry, I don't know what's happening with my throat. All right, the particular person chooses cheese, it's going to be 120 minus, or the total here, it is 119. You all agree with me, right? Yes. A moment, just a moment. All right. So now when you choose this cheese, it's going to be 120 minus x minus 1, right? So it's going to be 119 minus x. All right, there's something fishy here. There's no way that these two are going to have the same thing. The probability here cannot be the same. Or let me say, I think here and also here. I think there and also there. Why am I saying that? Because now, if you took what's this meat first, as you come back again, let me use a different color. As you come back from the cheese, you're gonna take this as it is. Okay, I want to believe that you're gonna take this as it is, like 120 minus x, because at first you did not choose what? You did not choose a meat at all. Then here it's gonna be divided by what's this? What's this? Meat is gonna be x divided by 119. All right. Sorry for the inconvenience, right? Now, can I just start over? Let me just start over this so that you understand better. I'm gonna repeat this. I'm gonna repeat this now with a better understanding, right? Meat and cheese. You say meat and cheese. Now the probability that it is meat, it is x divided by 120, right? The probability that it is cheese, it is 120 minus x divided by 120. When you branch, this is going to be meat and cheese. When you branch, if you took meat for the first time and you took meat for the second time, it means meat is the one that's going to be affected. Meat is the one that is going to be affected. X minus 1 divided by, remember, it decreases to 119. But cheese, if you did not choose cheese at the first trial, it means cheese won't be affected, but this one will be 119 because it decreases. So here it's going to be how much? 120 minus x. You're going to put it exactly as it is here at the top, right? Because at first you did not choose meat. Also, when I come here, when I branch for this one, and say this is meat and this is cheese, it's gonna be what? For meat, they did not choose meat at first, right? So meat will remain as x but divided by 119. Then cheese will be the one that is affected. 120 minus x minus 1 is going to be 119 minus x divided by 120. So this is what I'm trying to mean. But now the information that we are given is that the probability of meat, first trial it is meat and second trial it is cheese. So we are interested only in these two. All right. So we're gonna say it is what now? It is what? It is x divided by 120 multiply by 120 divided by 119. 120 divided by 120 divided by minus x divided by 119. It is equal to how much? They said it is equal to 18 divided by 85. You'll do your mathematical gymnastics there. You'll get that as you solve there, you get that this part it is let's say 120 actually x squared minus 120x plus 24. It is equal to 0. Then you'll solve this quadratically. Then you get x minus 84, x minus 36, it is equal to 0. Therefore, x it is equal to 84 or x it is equal to 36. But now let's go back to the question. The question says, calculate the probability that the first passenger will choose a cheese meat. A cheese meat. Where is the cheese meat? So the cheese meat is here. Cheese meat is here, right? So now, but remember, if I say 84 plus 36, it gives me 120, right? But between the two, remember they said the probability that meat will they said that more passengers will choose meat. So this is probably for meat. Then less passengers will choose what? Will choose cheese. So this is for cheese. So the probability that they will choose cheese, it is as probability that first choose cheese. It is what? It is 36 divided by 120. Which is how much? 3 divided by 10, or you can say 0.3, yeah, 0.3%. So that's all for question 10 in May-June 2022 question paper. So yeah, that's all that this question paper ended here. So I believe you understood all from question 1 up to question 10, even though you did not, even if you did not understand from question 1 to question 10, but please make sure that major of the question that you got them correct. All right. Thank you very much.